Hi everyone, it's Marianne from Happy Paper People. How is everybody today? I am here today to share with you how I made this tag, which is also journaling spot. A couple journaling spots there. I've been working on this awesome Paris journal for a custom order, and I wanted to make a tag that had a little more room to write than just a tag. So you open this up. It's kind of a spine with fabric. The fabric is Paris fabric. I'm pretty sure you can't really tell, with some black lace on top, and I stitched that on. And then with a vintage bulb pin, put a little watch face. Get to the other side, shows the watch works. And a matching black and gold flower for the Black Eiffel Towers. Lovely moments in time, and you can write about lovely moments in here. Now, if I put a typical tag ribbon on the top, then it would be closed and you wouldn't be able to open it to write. I didn't want to put it on just one because then it would just hang open. So I decided to put it through both and bring it up, and I actually just tied it with a little bit of tulle so that if she wanted to, she could take that off and take the ribbon out completely. It doesn't even need to be there. And you could, oh, do I have a paper clip around here? I have a butterfly paper clip. You could take the ribbon off completely and just close it with a paper clip of any kind, like the butterfly paper clip there. So that's why I did that, to give her that option if she didn't want to leave that ribbon in there. But I stitched around the tag, not necessarily around the tag, I'm sorry. I stitched around the writing spaces and just sewed the coffee dyed paper right on it, and then stitched the spine on, and then just glued the lovely moments on. So I wanted to show you how I do that. And I have two pieces of paper because I wanted to try cutting it two different ways. And so rather than do it all over again and then do the tutorial, I thought I'm just going to do the tutorial after I made that one, and then try it both ways. So, okay, so it's a 6x6 piece of paper that I made it with. So it's basically a 6x3 tag. But the top of the paper, always has that little space on it that tears off because this hole is on there, for hanging. And so if I measure this, it's probably 6.5 right there. It does not have, this one does not have a perforated top. But I could cut that first, and that's what I'm going to do on this one. I want a nice clean line, so I'm not going to tear it. I'm going to cut that right off, and I'm going to save this because I have a tutorial coming up to show you how to use these guys. Okay, so that one is now a 6x6 square. And this one, before I do that, I want to, let's see, this should be, I'm going to score down the center because I want to get a decent fold on it. I want it to fold nicely. Now the center should be right where that hole is. Trying to get over the top of it without getting underneath the camera there. And there's the 3, so that is the center. Okay, so I'm going to score it on 3 all the way down and back up. Okay, and I'm going to score this one on 3 too. 3 as well. 3 also. 3 TOO. Okay, there we go. Now, the reason I didn't do that is sometimes maybe a paper isn't exactly square. And so I thought, what if I scored it first? And this probably doesn't make any difference at all. But if I scored it and folded it, and then cut that top piece off, both sides together, I would be sure to have a square because they came off together. So, like I said, it probably doesn't make any difference at all in doing that because actually I think I'm going to do something else a little bit different too, and I'm going to leave it open until I get it embellished. So no, don't think we need that anymore. So let's put that. Oh, we do. We had got to cut coffee dyed paper. So we don't need a scoreboard anymore. I don't think. So let's get us some coffee dyed paper here. Actually, I don't want to cut it. I think I'm really liking the torn. It's just a little bit not quite big enough. Oh, that's interesting. They both have polka dots on the center. They weren't in the paper pad, the paper stack, when I pulled these two out. They were just stuck in with a bunch of 6x6 paper, so I didn't realize that they were from the same. Looking at which direction we should do that. I think this direction. Yeah, I think that should be. And that is obvious, that direction. Okay, so if I turn this over, there's the top and the inside, and there's the top and the inside. Yeah, didn't realize they were from the same paper stack to have that center. So, but that's cool. All right, so what I need is ruler to tear. First of all, we need to make our tag shape. Okay, so I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. You don't have to have dies or, you know, any kind of template or anything. Just fold it over, and if it's a single tag, it's obviously just one piece of paper. Go to the corner and cut a corner off. Don't let it fall on the floor because you need it. Okay, so this corner was probably on the other side because the front side there, it was just like that. So the front side fell on the floor because there's two pieces of paper. So, okay, so then I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip it over here and just hold it right there. And, oh, that's hard to see because it's exactly the same. Now, this is a little awkward because it's in my way. It's in my hand to get right on that cut. So here's what I do. Little tip. I take this and put it behind. It's still the exact same direction, but now when I flip it over, I have the solid color of the back of the piece of paper against the print. So it's not only easier to see, but I don't have the whole tag in my way as I'm trying to cut, especially if you're trying to cut through two and you want them to be cut the same. I stopped in the middle and I can see where I did. It's not exactly straight. There we go. Okay, so there's our tag. All right, now I'm not going to cut a hole in the top until the very end. So we decide, you know, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Now, did you know that when you score a piece of paper, so we scored on this side, right? We scored on this side and it made a valley. If you turn it over to the other side, it made a mountain. I was working with paper for, I have to say, probably several years before I found out that you don't fold it this way. Because you think, well, there's a mountain, I should fold it that way. It just kind of makes sense, right? No. Have you ever folded paper and then had it crack on you because it's nice thick paper? Yeah. So you turn it over here. The side that you scored on that creates the valley, that's the side that you fold. And so I always tried to think of how could I tell somebody how to fold that they would remember. And I heard Gail Augustinelli say, you fold the valley and it becomes the mountain. That made sense. So that's how you can remember it if you're not sure. I always just remembered the side that I'm scoring on, that's the side that I'm folding away from. So you actually want to score on the side that you want the outside, the side you're working with. But if it helps to remember, turn the valley into the mountain. Okay. And let's see, is that the back one? That is the back one. So I'm going to flip it over to here. Then I'm going to put it behind. Flip that over. It's just a whole lot easier to cut for me. If it doesn't bother you, maybe you have tiny hands, can get them in there easier. You don't have to flip it over. There we go. All right, so we have a butterfly tag and roses tag. Okay, so now we need some coffee dyed paper for the inside. All right, so I like it to go basically to the top of this cut here. And so that is, and I want to see a little bit of this around the outside. I'd love to see some of these polka dots because they're really kind of cute. So we can get half of polka dot there. And let me see, if I turn this over and do it this way, I can actually see the bottom. I'll show you why I did that. I hope I'm not pushing this out of frame for you. All right, so if I put this on a line, this is one of those times I like the tear line, but I also want it to be straight down so the paper doesn't go, you know, all skiwampus and it looks like you don't know how to cut a straight piece of paper. But I really am liking the tear cut. Cutting by tearing. Okay, so I've got my center seam on a line, and now I've got this parallel to that. So I'm going to come over to this side, and here's my edge right here. I want to come in, where is it? There it is right there. I want to come in about the same, which is just, I can see right there, it's just shy of 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come just shy of 1/4 of an inch. And I can come down to the bottom and I can see that I'm just shy of 1/4 of an inch, so I know it's in line all the way up and down. Then I can tear that, and I should have a straight line. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to put this here. And line those up, and then put this on top where I want the bottom to end, and trim the bottom. There we go. Now it's easy. I just have to do another one of these for the other side. And actually, if I do 3 more, because they're all the same, right? Okay. I have something underneath there, but I don't. All right, so I'm just going to line this up with, doesn't have to be lined up with the mat. I'm just lining it up with the paper that's underneath it. And then I'm going to bring my ruler and make sure my ruler is right on the edge, so I get the exact same size. Let's go all the way down. Okay. And now I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing for the length. We don't need my hair in the way. So it's May. Has everybody or anybody planted a garden? I know Ivy's been out working on her garden. She's been awfully quiet in Happy Paper People, which makes me wonder about her. But I know she's been out working in her garden, and hubby and I have been out working in our garden as well. I always like to get it planted like the week after Mother's Day. It always seems like when we plant it before Mother's Day, even if we wait till the beginning of May, that we get that one last cold snap, and then we lose a bunch of plants. So we've started prepping the garden, but then waiting until that week right after Mother's Day to actually plant it. And so we got it all planted this week. I say we very loosely, because hubby did most all the work. I helped him here and there. I did a little, but he did most of the work. He's worked really hard getting that garden together. And okay, that's 3. We need 1 more. And my sister, we love tomatoes, love to plant tomatoes in the garden. And man, if you have never had tomatoes fresh from the garden, you've got to find somebody who grows them or grow them yourself and taste the difference. You know, so often the tomatoes in the store they're just flavorless because they're picked so early so that they're not rotten by the time they get to you. But tomatoes in the garden, when you can pick them when they're ripe, they are so sweet and so good. It is just an amazing difference. And so we love tomatoes. I love to eat them like apples. And if we can't eat them all, if they're producing too many, then I can them, make stewed tomatoes, or I will cook up a big pot of tomatoes and onion and jalapeno from the garden. And I just cook it all down and then can it. Either I'll actually can it in jars, or I'll put it in Tupperware containers and freeze it. I don't want this to rip into. I don't want it straight there either, but I don't want it to rip into the rest of the paper. Okay. And then all year long, we have that tomato goodness, freshness from the garden, and we can take that base of onions and tomatoes and jalapenos from the garden and add whatever we want to make whatever kind of sauce. We can make lasagna or any kind of pasta sauce or marinara sauce or, you know, spaghetti. Just love tomato sauce. I can even turn that into stewed tomatoes if I want tomato soup. So, should have come down here and torn the end, huh? Yeah, that would have been nice. Okay. Today was a horrible day. It really wasn't. But I say that because I ran out of Fabri-Tac. There's a tiny bit left in there, and I am squeezing out every single drop because all deliveries are taking so much longer right now to get to us. And I need my Fabri-Tac. I was working on my Paris journal today and made a lot of ephemera and embellishments and things for inside, and used a lot of Fabri-Tac. Okay, now I'm wondering if these are actually, oh, that's why, because I cut the corner deeper on this one than I did on that one. And that's why this one covers more of the tag than this one. And it actually doesn't cover more of the tag. It covers up past that gore point there. So yeah, I ordered some more Fabri-Tac, but you know, deliveries are not coming as quickly as we would like them often, and so not sure what I'm going to do. Okay, want to get these down. I did order some more art glitter glue a week ago, and it arrived. So that's awesome. So I filled up my little bottle because this little one is so easy to work with. We're just going to go all the way around the outside. A little bit on the inside. Doesn't take much at all. Art glitter glue. It is so good with paper. Turn this to the side. And you only have a couple seconds. Remember, once you put it down, if you have to move it. I got a little too far to the left, so a quick move. Oh, it's already down there. I wanted to straighten that just a little bit, and it's already solid. That's why I like art glitter glue, especially when you're making things in a hurry or you're doing a tutorial, because it does dry super, super quickly. And you don't have to sit around and wait for it to dry. And it doesn't take very much to glue something on. Okay. Get that about equidistant so they look like they're meant to be the same. There we go. Okay. Now on my prototype, I sewed those on, and I'm not going to do that now because of time. But I may go back and sew those later. I'll have to decide. Okay. I may just take something and outline them, give them a little bit of a frame. So let's get this one on too. Here, okay. And then let's see what we can do to embellish these. That's kind of more fun than watching me sew, right? Okay. So I would like to know what everybody else has been working on while spending so much time at home. Can't go out shopping. I know we've been doing, in Happy Paper People, we have an all about. Every month is all about something, and May is all about junk mail. And so people are making all abouts, which just means that they're taking junk mail and making cool things out of them. And then they post their pictures and say, here's an all about. So we all know that that means that they used junk mail to make that. And then we get to see, and then we get new ideas and we get inspiration from each other. and then we go make something else, then we post that. Even if we make the same thing, it's just so interesting to me how we each do it just a little differently. You know, we're all creatives. So you can look at the same thing. Sharon, my collaborator on YouTube and Facebook. Sharon and I can look at the same thing and both be totally inspired and go make something and come back with two completely different things, or the same thing but embellished very differently. You know, it's just, that's awesome, because then I look at hers and go, oh yeah, that's a good idea too, and then I make one like hers and she like me. So it's awesome to share like that, and Happy Paper People is a really cool place. We have artists of all kinds, everything from photography to card making to scrapbooking to junk journaling to art journaling, musicians, all kinds. That we respect all art, and we love all art. So you are welcome to come over and join us there. Join the fun. We are truly having a lot of fun. Okay, so I was thinking as I was pulling some stuff out, confession. The worst thing to do when you're making a tutorial is not have decided ahead of time exactly what you're going to do. Well, it's not the worst thing when you're making a tutorial. It's the worst thing when you're trying to keep that tutorial short because it takes 24 hours to upload it to YouTube. Yeah, well, okay. So I grabbed some doilies because I thought this just looks to me like it would be great for a doily or something. But I don't know exactly what I'm going to do here. So let me just play with this for a minute. We could do one like that and just wrap a little bit around. That's pretty. This is a bigger one. We could do it kind of, which side is that? Side's up. Okay. Kind of halfway on both. That's a true vintage doily. It's got marks and it's actually falling apart in some spots. That would be pretty too. Here's a different type of doily. We could do that one in the middle too. Oh, geez, that's really pretty too. Oh, now I'm not sure. This one's even bigger and it's too big. Well, that makes that easy. These are two flowers. This came from a Goodwill find, a blouse, top of some kind, and the whole top was just all these flowers put together. So I grabbed a couple of those out and see what those look like. We could do flowers too. So do we do flowers? We'd get one on the front and a smaller one on the back. Oh, I didn't look at this doily. Which way is up? That way I think is up. Do it right in the middle. That would be pretty. This one has been starched because it is stiff. Or we could do it, I kind of like doing it over with just a little bit behind. I don't know. I like these other two better, I think. Oh boy. All right. Send ESP through and tell me, should we use a doily? Now, after looking at these two, this one looks small. Should we use a doily? This doily? Should we use this doily right here? Fold it in half. I think maybe it would be that way. We get that whole centerpiece right there. Or shall we use the flowers? Either way, they're both pretty. Okay, so what do we have to go with them? Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's just lace. Okay, so we've got that. We've got some fibers. All right, this is a vintage scarf. Oh my goodness. It is so old. It is literally just falling apart. I could just pull a piece off of it. And it's the same color, kind of, sort of, as this. So we could, let's see, if we did that, we could take a little piece of this and put it on top of it. And we could do, this came off of a necklace. We could do that right there in the center. Got a couple of buttons. We could do that right there in the center. Or we could do that. No, that one's not striking me, so that one can move out. No, that's a bead. Go through that one. That doesn't work either. All right, what else have we got? I've got this one, solid gold. It's a little shiny. I think I'd probably sand that off a little bit, maybe put a little mousse on it for a vintage look. I don't know. I kind of think that one of these two, I have a hard time seeing because I'm not straight up above it. One of these two probably looks best. And I think the longer I look at it, that would be fun to work with too. Look at that. That would be fun. But I think the longer I look at it, the more I like this look of this one. All right. So this one it is. All right. I want just a piece of paper that I can glue on this side. Flip this one. I want the wrong side of this one. Is there a right side and a wrong side? Man, this is hand tatted, you can tell. It's really cool looking. I think that's the wrong side. All right, and we're gonna squeeze out some Fabri-Tac, and here's how we're gonna do it. Because we really need Fabri-Tac over the whole thing, and it will hold a lot better and a lot faster than any of the other glues. I have this stuff called Fabric Fusion. I love Aline's glues. She's got all kinds of them, but I have this Fabric Fusion, and it says permanent fabric adhesive. However, I've been using it today, trying it out, and it doesn't adhere as fast as Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix does. So, all right, I'm going to have to hold it completely upside down to get that last little bit out. And I have a feeling that I'm going to have to, whoa, big glop. All right. I'm going to have to do this quickly so it doesn't dry before I get around the whole thing. Because I don't know that I have enough glue to go all the way around it again. But we're going to do our best here. If I didn't have to hang on to it with both hands. Where is it coming out? It's not coming out. Gotta get it run down there again. I thought I had another bottle. I hear y'all going, so why did you let it get so low? I honestly thought up on the shelf with all my other backups, I had one more bottle of this. But apparently I don't. So I ordered today, and I ordered a pack of 3. That's a good start, right? Will only last so long, but I don't want to stick my finger in that because it'll be all... Okay, this will be entertaining, just watching Marianne fight with the Fabri-Tac. All right. We just got to get it on here enough that it's going to stay. And come on, don't be all out. There's got to be a little more. There is. Okay, we need some in the center stuff. And this center stuff. That center stuff. Oh my goodness. We do need some around the outside. Glue my fingers before I actually get it to the paper. See, because it's taken so long to do this, I'm afraid that what I've put on there, the first stuff I put on there is going to be dry. All right, now, should have already chosen which side was going to go. Get this gluey paper out of the way. Okay, I want 2 of those right there so that we get almost that full center. Oh, I don't want to get glue all over the inside, which is what I'm doing there. I'm going to open that up. Bone folder. My bone folder is already gluey, so it's okay. Just kind of walking it out because a lot of it doesn't have any glue on it. So if I were to push it, put it down hard and push it, it's just going to pull it with it because there's no glue to hold it. It's only glue here and there, but it will be enough. And I can always go back and put some glue under like that one. Maybe that's the only one. A little bit there. Wow, that's the only one that doesn't have... Oh, here I am putting the brush down on something else. Let's see if we can just get a little bit under that one. Here we go. Awesome sauce. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. We got to save that last couple drops. Might need it for... Oh, yeah, we'll need it for something. We'll need it for whatever we're going to do on the center there. Ooh, that's really cool looking, isn't it? That's pretty. That is pretty. Okay, now we need a piece of this, this scarf that is just falling apart. Holy cow, it is just falling apart. I don't want this outside thick edge, but I think we want a piece. I'm going to try just cutting a little hunk off of it without tearing it, and we can tear it from there if we need. We'll put some around the back as well. Get that out of our way. So I want to, oh, see, that's the thing about Fabri-Tac. Then you're peeling it off forever, aren't you? I don't like it on like that because then as I'm handling other things, it'll get stuck. It'll hook the fibers and get stuck on that. Then I have Fabri-Tac everywhere. Oh, see, that's already coming off. It's already tearing off right there. So I'm just going to cut that thicker edge off. Those. Okay. And now we have this. Okay, if we lay this over. Let's see. If we do it that way, that one goes up. This one comes down. That's kind of pretty. It kind of mutes. We can stretch it apart farther too. Kind of mutes that doily, which is cream colored muted anyway. On the back, it's just adding a little bit of pink to it. Okay, so it's kind of sort of sticking there because there's just a little bit of adhesive here and there coming through the doily, but not enough to keep it permanently. You know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna use a little, like a tacky glue, and see if this will hold it. It should, because it's just such fine fibers. There's hardly any place to put glue on because the fibers are just falling apart. Which is really cool because it's so old. Kind of pull it apart and make anything with it, but at the same time needs to stay together long enough for me to get it where I want it. Okay, I'm not doing very well with that. There we go. Okay, now let's see if we can lift up this side. Get a little bit here and there. Just a few dots here and there. Love these tiny little tube needles that just let you get a tiny, tiny little bit out, like the top of the art glitter glue. Here we go. That'll work. In fact, that can be pulled even farther. some of these fibers. Just see, nothing grabs it and holds it like Fabri-Tac does. If you're working with fibers, or I mean, it works on paper too, which is awesome. You'll notice a lot of people use it in their tutorials on paper because it holds everything and it holds fast. It dries fast. But for paper, so I like this. It does the same thing. But nothing holds quite like Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix when you're doing fiber or fabric, any of those kinds of things that are fibrous. It holds very quickly, it dries very quickly, and is very strong. It'll hold your fabric permanently. Okay, so now we fold that. There we go. That's what we've got there. Okay, now let's take a look at the center. We've got that, and we've got that. This one has a little bit of a pink tint to it. We're going to cover up that cool center. Kind of looks like a starfish. Or do we want to just go gold? No, actually, I think this one kind of looks cooler. All right, so we're going to have Fabri-Tac for this to get it to hold to that and hold quickly. Get it to hold to the doily and the scarf there with those fibers. I'm pulling some of the goop off the top of it, so hopefully we can get out just the last little bit. Come on, Fabri-Tac, all we need is enough to glue this little bead on. It's not a button, it actually came off of a necklace. Was connected, there we go, there's a nice big glop. Was connected with jump rings on both sides to another one. So I actually have another one of these. I think there's 3. I think there was 3 total on the necklace. Okay. To kind of go all around there. I'm going to put it just off center because the center of the doily, there's a little hump. And there's also a little down part on this. And so if I do that, then there's going to be a lot of open space around it, which I would need to fill with Fabri-Tac to hold it. And since we hardly have any Fabri-Tac, I'm going to go just off center so that it goes kind of down in a groove. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Then what do we put on here? What else have I got? I've got a... That's just too much the same. Actually, what we need is a word of some kind, don't we? I think we need something up here too. And I didn't even think about that, so I didn't bring anything over. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut a slot hole. Probably needs to be emptied. I've used it a bunch of times. Okay. Make sure that's centered. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to pull out some, oh, I got so many words of all different kinds and not sure what, oh, now is not the time to be having to look through words, huh? Oh, one of these would be cool, though. That's kind of long. Look at that, birds and butterflies. That would go on that one. Silently, like thoughts that come and go, the snowflakes fall, each one a gem. Well, snowflakes, that would be good. If to know you is to love you. How about that one? How about that one? Let's, what else have we got here? These are white. They're too white, I think. Imagine, that would work. Hello, just for you. Time is measured by minutes, but life is measured by moments. That's a good one, too. Happy and cherish. Yep. Okay. While we're deciding, while you're putting your votes in as to which one of these we're going to use, I'm going to do a quick ink around the tag itself, because adding that color as a frame is going to change the look, and it can change what looks good on it, what word is gonna work with that. And we can also ink our word. Not saying it will change, but it could change. Let's see. Okay, I will go back later and ink the inside. You don't need to watch me ink. Get a little around that hole right there. Okay, and I don't want to go up here because there's still wet glue there. Ooh, that's really thin. But we can ink that a little. Now, because we're putting a word, even though it's paper, onto fiber, the best thing to hold it is, yeah, you guessed it, Fabri-Tac. Man, I even tried to look at Joann's, like, pickup, you know, or Walmart pickup, and Walmart's out. Joann's is not doing pickup right now. I don't know, that just seems a little too big, kind of. I'm looking for my, oh, it's underneath the desk, my jar with ribbon scraps to see if we happen to have a scrap long enough to use. I saw something pink. That was pink. Is that long enough to use? Actually, it is, and that would probably work. Okay, we could do that. Oh, I think there's some pink tulle. No, that's red. Turn it on the side here to see what else I can dig up from down there. Here's some pink and gold. That might be just a little too shiny for the vintage. And let's see. Here's some pink that says, "What to do later, what's up?" So that won't work. And that's all I see in there. I do have, let's see, some scraps over here that I was working with earlier. I've got this satin. Oh, that would be pretty. That would be really pretty. Although, I don't, is that long enough? I don't know if that's long enough, but if, oh, what about this? What about this? That would be pretty, and that will work. Okay, that is long enough. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to do it just like we did the prototype so that it can open all the way. So I just fed it through both of them, brought it together at the top. Now, I could just tie them in a little knot. I could tie them together like I did that one. I could actually just sew across that to hold it too, but that way when it's opened, it can actually separate in order to write on it. So that works. That'll work right there. All right, so let's go back and decide our word here, or phrase. I like that, but it's kind of big in relation to that button, but we could probably cut that down a little. I like that one. It's just awfully white, but you know what we do with that? We just make it old, not white anymore. And then we give the edges just a little bit more, so they're just a little darker. I think I need a new sponge. What do you think? I did re-ink that pad, but this poor sponge won't absorb anything anymore. It's just all falling apart. Yeah, I've got some more. I'll just have to change that as soon as we're finished. All right, how about that? How about that? Yeah, that's pretty. Let's do that. All right. Okay, we're going to try a little bit more Fabri-Tac. Oh, got to take the whole thing off. One of these times I'm going to go to do this, and there's not going to be a last drop that comes out. It's going to be, that's it, Marianne. That's it. That's all that was there. Because I keep trying to squeeze out one more drop, one more glob. Uh-oh. Those sounds aren't very good, and I'm not getting any... Oh, there we go. I got a little resistance. Meant there's some glue coming. Okay, all the way to the edge. Got my fingers in it enough. I don't need them in it anymore. Okay. And let's place that right underneath that. You know, maybe it would have been cool to put a little clock face right there. Time is measured by minutes, but life is measured by moments. I like that. So, take time to smell the roses, right? I was going to say, take time to smell the moments. Take time to enjoy the moments. You know, that's true, though. If you think about memories, when you start talking about memories with people, you don't talk about, like, the whole event. You talk about the minutes, the moments, the things that happened, the individual things that were just there in a moment within the big event. So make the most of your moments, even these moments where you're stuck at home with all these people and you might be getting stir crazy, but just know that you're better off with them here than you are without them. And, you know, be glad for those moments. So thanks for joining me today. I invite you to join us on Facebook in the Happy Paper People group. I'll be back soon with another tutorial. Until then, be curious and try something new.